Hey family, what is up? What is up? What is up? What is up? I am so excited to have you here today. Yes. Thank you for being here. Um, Today I'm just gonna be sharing on some very crucial and important issues concerning. Hey guys, welcome. Say Nick. Okay. We have the Zubaba in the building today. Welcome everyone. Today I'm just going to be talking about my experience with mentorship, which I believe is probably like one of the things that has saved my life. Like, I believe I'm only here because I am literally standing on the shoulders of giants. Like, I couldn't have made it this far if it was just by my own thoughts. If I didn't have guidance, if I didn't have accountability, if I didn't have people that I knew were constantly watching over me and were also praying for me, covering me, giving me ideas, correcting me, all of that. So I just want to share a bit about how this journey actually started. I don't know, I think I was just coming from high school, like in 2015. 2015 is when I finished my A levels. So I then was applying for varsity. And then someone sent me a group link. She's like, I know this extremely spiritual platform that I'd love for you to join, right? I said, okay, let me join. There I met this woman, and back then I didn't even know that I was being mentored. Like, I always say this, like, I just joined the group, I was on fire. I remember the first day that I joined that group, the woman who was like the mentor in that particular group was called Mami Ellen, was like, Mama Mari, hamuna kunyara, that kind of thing. Yeah. Now that I look back, I'm like, probably 19 Zungu, that kind of thing. She was like, there's no need to be shy in the presence of the Lord. There is no visitor in God's house. That's what she was saying. Now that I look back, I'm like, I think I was a bit too much for her to say that. But anyway, I got in there with energy, with zeal. I just wanted to serve God. And my mentor, Mami Samantha, who's the visionary of that platform, like, just gave me the leeway to do everything that I wanted to do, which is absolutely amazing. Like, I would preach whenever I felt like preaching, whatever I read, I would share. I had the platform to lead prayer, and I was actually laughing the other day how everyone was shocked that I prophesy, but I had been prophesying even when I was a part of Mommy, like really 100% serving. I still serve my mentor up till now. I still partner. I still do a lot of things with Mommy. But at the same time, like, at that point, I would literally get into everyone's inbox one by one, giving a prophetic word, like one by one. Every single person would get a prophetic word from me. I would send prayers to people in their inboxes. Like, it was wild like that. I can't even explain it. Like, it was wild like that. So it's only now that people are beginning to realize some of the gifts, some of the talents that I have. But for a long time, I've actually been doing this. Like, it's really nothing new for those that have known me for that long. But all this to say, I wasn't always like a good child. I wasn't always a good mentee, or always at things, going on well, was always submissive and things like that. I remember, I think in my second year in college, there's a time I was just like, you know what, I'm tired of this God thing, or whatever you call it. And then I told her, I'm leaving the group. Like, I just need a break. Of which I was basically one of the pillars of that ministry, right? And then she was like, okay, I'll be praying for you. She continued to check in on me, and I'm sure she was really heartbroken at that point. But when I decided to come back, like the prodigal son, my spot was still there in her heart. And I think for me, that's just a way of God showing really how his love, it never ends. No matter what we do, no matter how far we leave his presence, no matter how far we sin and things like that. Because even when I came back, she still loved on me. She still gave me a chance to share the word. She still, really treated me like her baby, like a really her own baby. And just to be able to meet with such people who genuinely love God and genuinely want to pour into you is something that I will never ever take lightly. Though it's said that in this generation, like there's been a lot of, you know, mentorship that has gone wrong, where it's now subjection, where someone now feels stifled by the mentor, or mentors become jealous, where the person that they're mentoring, sprouts forth and does the unimaginable good things. But I think the mark of a good leader is when you disciple people who become better than you mentor people that become better than you. And I'm really privileged that never at any point, this is just one example of one mentor that I gave, but I have mentors that are not limited only to females. I also have male mentors who are also by my side. I call them, I talk to them, I ask questions. I think it's one of the most important things. To the moment that you recognize that this person in my industry, in my field, knows so much about that industry, it's so important that you literally go crazy. Anything that you think, even remotely, not even like deeply, even anything that you think about, you ask questions. Anything. I remember asking my mentor, like back then I was really a baby Christian. Like she really discipled me, like true discipleship. She did that with me. And I would ask, Mommy, is it okay for me to wear this dress? Like I was preaching at a conference, right? So now I was asking her if my dress was, because it was a very long dress, but it had short sleeves. Imagine asking about short sleeves. I would ask about anything. She knew everything about my family. Up till now, she does know. Like, mentorship sometimes goes beyond just gaining from also the mentor. As the mentee, I served, like I would do rounds. Even up till now, I don't know why I'm speaking in past tense. I still do that. Even for my Bible school that I'm currently attending, I do the logistics for graduation. I also teach. I do everything. I continue to serve, because as a mentee, you don't want to be someone who just takes and takes and takes and takes and you give nothing back. Somehow it becomes, the thing where you're like a sap sucking pest that we learned in biology, where you just chowing, you're just taking kumora. That's what we call it in Shona. But there's nothing that you're also giving back to the mentor. This has to be a give and take relationship. Of course, mentorship is barely paid for. Like, that's deep mentorship is barely paid for, but it's so important that you also show interest. You also show that you're vested in what this person is doing by also serving them. Ask them, do you need help? If they're hosting an event, offer your service to say, can I serve the people water? Can I sweep? What can I do just to be useful in that person's life? They will actually appreciate you more. They will really, really, really appreciate you more. So I think what we're missing in this generation is basically discipleship. Because I feel that I was really discipled, like Jokutodaro, where discipleship, we are saying you're no longer a stranger, right? Maybe when we speak about it in the Christian context, there's a part where you're just going to church because your parents have said you should go to church. Then there's a part when you yourself want to go to church and find out for yourself. At this point, your parents are not thinking, you know what, you and church, it's becoming a little bit too much. That's the level of discipleship where you're saying, I want to learn as much as I can from this person. That's when we think of the disciples of Jesus, how they spent time with Jesus, they learned as much as possible from Jesus. Like, while Jesus preached yes to everyone, but there was an inner circle. Let's talk of the 12 disciples first, who after having preached, taught the parables to the people, the disciples would still ask, Lord, what did this parable mean? And in private, Jesus would explain the parables to them. Imagine how beautiful that is. The disciples asked Jesus, saying, Lord, teach us to pray. Imagine. I think that's one of the most interesting and important things when it comes to mentorship, to say, when you see that someone has done well, is it in terms of are you in accounting and you see someone with the potential to mentor you, like, how do I balance these books? How best can I manage my time to be doing ACA, to be balancing family and still going to school and delivering here at work? So you are basically learning from this person. You've seen how they live their life. Jesus had amazing habits. That's the only reason why the disciples then asked to say, teach us to pray, because they had seen him praying. A lot of the times would go away to pray. As a mentor, there's a point where you know for sure that you're no longer just living for yourself, but everyone around you has to catch on to the fire of what you're already doing, right? The disciples saw Jesus. Jesus was a model that they wanted to follow. A mentor is someone that has gone ahead of you, has the years of experience, the wisdom of experience, such that you don't have to go through what they have gone through. Especially when it comes to the mistakes, you can simply learn from what they're telling you, and that's enough. You really do not have to go through, the heartbreaks, the losses, the financial losses, the social capital that they lost because of recklessness, because of, things that they did wrong. But when you simply glean from them, when you learn from them, you know for sure that you cannot make the same mistakes. I go and I ask my mentors, like, what do you think you did wrong in ministry, in your first years of ministry? What do you think are the things that the church is currently failing to do? How best do you think that I can also come out on the other side? It's interesting to note that, like, we're in a season where mentors have been given to our disposal, whether online or physical. But one thing I always say is that it's great to be mentored by Vusi Tembekwayo, for example, when it comes to business online, right? But at the same time, you need mentors who are on the ground, people that you can call to say, you know what, I've been caught up in a bind right now. If it's your business, you're like, my sales are drastically going down. What can I do to come out of this situation? And you know that your mentor can immediately respond. Maybe not immediately, but like before the close of the working day, they can respond to say, no, this is what you can do. You can strategize like so. But now when we have these fancy, the Kim Kardashian mentors, you cannot reach Kim Kardashian. You get what I'm saying? Even if you DM her, even if you email her, you will not get to her. Unfortunately, I'm just being realistic here. And my understanding of mentorship is access. Jesus gave access to the disciples. The disciples had access. Now, this is very interesting. From John chapter 13, verse 23 to 25, it says, now there was leaning on Jesus's bosom, on the chest, one of his disciples whom Jesus loved. Simon Peter motioned to him to ask who it was of whom he spoke. Then leaning back on Jesus's breast, he said to him, Lord, who is it? And what's interesting is that Jesus actually did tell the disciples who it was who was going to betray him. Now, Peter was so clever. Like, this was a mind-blowing revelation for me to say how Peter was too clever for him to know that if I'm to, wink at John to say, ask Jesus who is going to betray him. Like, Peter was also one of the, inner three, like the closest, the inner circle of Jesus. But we also understand that there was one who was closest to Jesus. And there is a point where, Peter understood that, yes, though I'm close to Jesus, but there's someone who has greater access to Jesus than me. So Peter asked the one that had greater access. Not that Jesus was going to deny him, but he knew it's easier for John to be the one that asks Jesus this question. Because imagine someone is lying on your chest. I actually gave this example that your husband or your wife lies on your chest and they ask you, babe, may I please have $100 for ice cream? Though it's unrealistic, but the fact that someone is lying on your bosom makes you just want to give them that money, because it's like a state of, intimacy, a state of oneness, a state of unity, of peace, of calm around you. There is no way someone is going to lie on your chest, right? And you're quarreling. It's only in times of peace, of tranquility, that someone actually lies on your bosom. So this is the same thing now. To say, oh my God, I just want to make a special request and ask you, who is it that's gonna, hey, Jesus. Probably felt he also didn't have any option. You get what I'm saying? Now, when we look at the mom of the two disciples who asked, like, Lord, can you reserve a seat for my kids, one at your left and one at your right? It's because of proximity that you get to ask even those unrealistic questions. Like, you can ask anything when it comes to mentorship. So for me, mentorship has saved my life. Like, there are things, because of age, I'm generally at a disadvantage even when it comes to ministry. But because the Lord has blessed me so much to give me mentors, like, God literally always, at every moment that I'm stepping into a greater dimension, into a greater level, He always positions a mentor for that season, because there are mentors that are for a season and some are for a lifetime. But I know for sure that I'm not going into a new assignment by myself. God will always give me people who back me up. Sometimes it's about us yielding to God to really hear what He wants from us. And also letting God direct us to the right people who will be able to guide us and mentor us into our destinies. But sometimes we need to listen. When it comes to mentorship, you have to hear from God, because if you by any chance are mentored by the wrong person, they can actually steal your destiny. You know those African traditional things where when someone lays hands on you, even when we speak from a Christian perspective, there is transference of the anointing and impartation that happens through the laying on of hands. And when someone who does not have your best interest at heart lays their hands on you or guides you or does whatever with you, they can still and stifle your destiny. So you need to be extremely discerning. You need to pray to God to help you. To be able to tell that this is my mentor for this season, and to be able to serve and love that mentor like crazy. That way you can both benefit. The mentor is benefiting, but you are also benefiting even more. All right, guys, so that's basically it about mentorship that I've learned, like, in the most practical way I could give you, like how, mentorship is also great for your own CV. Even when you are the one that's mentoring, it becomes great for your CV and things like that. But yeah, it's now 20 minutes and this was meant to be a 10-minute video. I just want to say, guys, I am gonna be hosting personally, sharing what has happened in my life, how I've gotten to the place that I've gotten. Like, I haven't arrived. I'm not at a place where I desire to be, but I'm more certainly thankful. I'm grateful that I'm not where I used to be. And I'm ready to share. I'm ready to, just pour out into all of you guys. And I'm excited to be rebranding, but also sharing with you guys what I've now rebranded from Trailblazing with Consolata to Kingdom Builders Network, where the Kingdom Builders Network is for you and I who are kingdom oriented, who want to serve God, but also at the same time we want to grow in our careers, in the different areas of influence where the Lord has placed us, so that we may be able to serve the kingdom, so that the money and the wealth that we get may be able to serve the kingdom. So whether you are called into ministry, that's the fivefold. If you're called into education, government, into health, technology, media, entertainment, upon the 7 mountains of influence, this program is for you. I'll be bringing several mentors from different spheres of influence. Is it on branding? Is it on communication, team building? Whatever you can think of, love and relationships, all of those mentors are going to be coming to pour into you every single month. So it's just going, imagine just for $20 to get the best of the best, including some of the people that were on our conference panel, like Dr. Rebecca Manford, Seti Naninik, Master Coach Mungate. We also have a branding guru that we're bringing on. The best of the best coaches right here will be pouring into you. So make sure that you're a part of it. Amongst many other, benefits is that we have a live weekly training. Like, we're actually sitting down with you. We are pouring into you with proper PPTs, like properly written stuff, properly, it's just going to be world class. I promise you, it's going to be world class. We have workbooks plus resources. I am always going to give you resources. I'm always going to give you notes. I'm always going to give you something that you can constantly refer to. We will have business and mentoring dinners, 20% discount on all of my books. Who knows? Maybe I could just, mistakenly release maybe like 10 more at once. You never know. But it's like 20% discount on all of my books. VIP access to all of my events, which are a lot, by the way. Group plus one-on-one coaching. You have direct access to me at whatever time of the day or night. You have direct access to me. Together as a group, we're learning, but you also have direct access to me and to the mentors that we'll be bringing on the platform. We have the special guests, like I mentioned, a safe space for us to chat, to grow together, and we'll end with a certification and a graduation for you as well. So just for $20 a month, I, together with these amazing, brilliant mentors, will be pouring out into you. But throughout this month of October, every Tuesday, I'll be doing a live on a different topic. And I promise you, you're going to be blessed. Please make sure to sign up for mentorship. If you cannot find someone who is already doing what you want to do right here in Zimbabwe or wherever you are, like physically, where you can go to their house, you can immediately call them. I know that everyone who's powerful is a mentorship program that's dubbed in one way or another. They have a paid program. Somehow, somewhere, make sure you're part of that paid program so that you can get as closest access to them as possible. Jesus mentored the disciples to the extent that he knew that even if they worked together only for 3 years, but they could continue his legacy. I mean, up till this point, the church still continues to move forward because of the sacrifice of Jesus to mentor his disciples without expecting anything in return. But here today, we are learning. We are still learning from what the disciples did. We are still learning from Jesus' journey. That's the power of mentorship. That indeed, like the Bible says, that heaven and hell will not prevail against this kingdom. Up till now, the kingdom of God is still domineering. It's still the largest religion right here on the earth because someone said yes to mentorship. It's important that you find a mentor. Pray to God that he helps you to find a mentor. That you identify them, because God has already given you that mentor. These people come as destiny helpers. And you need to be able to identify your destiny helper in this season so that you may be able to fully utilize. Mentors are some of the resources that are actually given to us right at our disposal to just use. It's truly a blessing that comes only from God and that we should never ever take lightly. So guys, thank you so much. I love you so much. I'll be posting the information on the Kingdom Builders program immediately afterwards. So I love you so much. Until next Tuesday. Bye-bye.